Thanks for tuning in. Today I want to do a follow-up video on my Hermes Picotin handbag. I have previously done a what's in my bag and first impressions video, which I like to do a few months after I acquire a new handbag into my collection. I like to share like what fits inside and some initial impressions that I have. But after that, I like to do a follow-up as well, where I share, do I think it's worth it? And so I got this handbag a couple years ago now, so I felt like I was due for a follow-up and share whether I feel like it's a good piece to have in your collection or not. So before I share the pros and cons of this bag, I thought I would share the overall specs of the specific one that I have. So this is my Hermes Picotin. I have it in the 18 size, so it's the smallest size they make in the Picotin style. It is in Clemence leather, which I believe is like a calf skin, but like a younger calf skin. So there's Togo and there's Clemence. So the graining, I believe, is a little bit smaller on the Clemence leather compared to the Togo. And it is in the color Magnolia, which is this beautiful deep pink color. It is quite a like magenta leaning pink, and it has palladium hardware. I purchased this in July of 2018, so I've now had it in my collection for a couple of years, actually a solid 2 years now. And so this is the item that I will be sharing my thoughts on. You saw the little box that I propped it up so you can actually see the whole bag in the frame, but that's okay. That's just all the little behind the scenes, right? And when I purchased this bag a couple of years ago, I believe it was around $2,600, and I just checked on the Hermes website right now, and it looks like size 18 is $27.25 in Clemence leather, but sometimes the prices can be different depending on the leather and any other features that it might have. So I'll start off with the pros, the parts of this bag that I actually really like. I'm pretty sure I shared some of these in my previous What's in My Bag and First Impressions video, so I definitely check that out, especially if you're curious to see what or how much can fit inside this bag. But it's first and foremost, it is extremely lightweight. It is very lightweight, or at least it feels very lightweight for me, considering that it is a full leather handbag. Compared to like a Chanel classic flap, compared to the Birkin, it's definitely lighter. There aren't as many compartments or like hardware pieces or things like that that make it very lightweight, and I definitely like that about this bag, especially because it is a hand carry bag. The fact that it is lightweight helps me want to use it more and helps me carry it for the whole day without me feeling like it's really like a burden and really dragging me down. I think it's hard to deny the fact that this is like an entry-level handbag when it comes to Hermes, and you are able to experience and own that beautiful, luscious Hermes leather with all of the beautiful craftsmanship that comes along with it at an entry point price point. So that's definitely a standout feature in my mind for this bag. I'd definitely say it's an interesting opening, but it is a no fuss opening. So there is this tab. It's a very long tab that has the lock at the end, and I guess you could choose to not have the lock there if you wanted, but I like it for the aesthetic. You basically pull that up until it meets the like a D-ring at the end here, and because the lock can't go through, it won't open all the way, but that is what opens up the handbag. You'll see I have stuffing in there, but it does open it up and you're able to access the items inside. And then when you grab the handles, the weight of the lock at the end naturally pulls the tab back down and it closes the bag. So it's very minimal hardware. There's no like specific clasp that you need to open to access the items in your bag. It's pretty much an open tote with a closure. Like you can equate it to like a magnetic closure. It just doesn't open all the way, you know, because there is this piece that's connected in the middle, but it still in my books, it's still a no fuss, easy access handbag where you can just grab the things on the inside. I also like that because the sides are open and it's not like a full closed flap. You know, you can like throw things in there if you're in a hurry. Like, you know, you get a receipt and I can just like pop it in the corner here and I know it'll fall down to the bottom of my bag. Or I can just pop my phone down there for a minute and then bring it back out. So I really like that it's easy access. It is a smaller size handbag, so I think it's perfect to introduce a pop of color. But of course, a lot of folks love to carry the Picotin in a neutral tone, and I think it looks beautiful either way. But personally, given the color that I have it in, I think this size is perfect for having that extra pop of color. And lastly, I feel like it is not a very flashy bag. It's not overly branded and it's somewhat low-key. So, you know, if people know, they know, but otherwise it can just look like a beautiful handbag that you're carrying as an accessory for your outfit. And sometimes I like to carry those kinds of bags so that I don't draw too much attention. Moving on to some of the cons for this bag. It is only a hand carry bag, and when I purchased this a couple of years ago, this was really the only top handle only handbag that I was getting into my collection, and I was a bit hesitant to do that because I am not particularly a hand carry only person. I much prefer the option of a top handle with a crossbody strap. I like to have that versatility. I like to throw it over my shoulders when I need to be hands-free and then be able to carry it, you know, with the top handle to just quickly grab it and go, instead of, you know, if you grab from like long handles, then you grab the handle but then the bag just like falls so much lower and you have to carry the whole thing over. So I like having the option of top handle and crossbody. This doesn't have a crossbody strap. I have seen some people attach a strap to both sides of the Picotin. I haven't done that yet. I may give it a try, but personally, I don't really like the shape of the Picotin once it gets expanded that way. I feel like it ends up looking like a bucket, and not like a cute bucket bag, but it just looks like a bucket. So I initially thought I might try that out, but I ended up never doing that. But that's because I don't really feel like I need to have the crossbody part of it. When I do carry it, I do go in with the whole mindset of like, you know, this is a top handle bag, so I will be carrying it for the whole day. But it is very comfortable. The handles are very comfortable on my arm, so I don't mind switching from carrying it from the handles in my hand to carrying it across my arm or like in the crook of my arm. And I just go back and forth between that. Sometimes though, I'll have those moments where I'm like, I just wish I could just like throw it over my shoulder. So it does stand out. I do have to mentally prepare myself for carrying the bag because it only has a top handle. The other piece that stands out is that it doesn't have a lot of structure. I do have it in the smallest size, in the 18 size, and so I think it's easier to get away with the lack of structure that it has. I feel like the larger the Picotins get, they lose even more structure. You can see it still stands up on its own, and it does have some, I don't know what to call those, like the packing air inside to keep its structure a little bit, and that's how I like to store it. But I feel like the larger the Picotin size, the less structure it has, and it gets harder to really keep that shape. As the bag gets older, as it ages, I do think it will sag a little bit and lose some of that structure. I haven't put an insert in it. I'm not a huge insert person anyway, which is why I just put the packing air inside when I store it. And when I use the bag, a lot of times I'll use like a catch-all or small leather goods that like help me organize and keep some of that shape. But I'm not a stickler for like putting some sort of insert into it to make it keep its shape. The bag itself isn't super structured, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to like force it to have structure when the bag itself wasn't really intended or designed that way. If you much prefer structured bags, then this one might not be a good one for you. In terms of like final thoughts or conclusions, I think this is an excellent bag from Hermes if you're looking for a relatively low-key, beautifully crafted top handle bag. I also think it is a cute, more youthful style that doesn't have too much structure in it, but it does have that kind of carefreeness to it because it's not super structured. And so it could be great for going out for quick errands, or more like, I don't know, like going to the park or something, like brunch that's a little less rigid, and you know, it's not like you're going to like Michelin star restaurant for 5 or 15 course dinner, you know. So it could be a great bag that is more casual in your collection. Personally, I really only recommend the 18 size because I think that's the cutest size. That's the best way I can put it. The larger sizes, especially when I see them on the secondhand market, honestly, and if you have the larger size, I'm not saying yours looks like this, but for me, why I didn't go for a larger size is because I feel like it ends up just looking like a sack. I personally don't like that look as much, and when it gets bigger, there's just more leather. I like the 18. I think the 18 is plenty large enough. If you've watched any of my other videos, you do know that I gravitate towards smaller bags, and I don't carry a lot of stuff in my everyday handbag. So keep that in mind when I say this is perfect for my everyday. I don't carry a lot with me. I tend to carry a small compact wallet or a card wallet with a little pouch of some makeup items, keys, and hand sanitizer, and that's pretty much it. I think a lot of you might also be wondering, you know, Picotin or Garden Party, because they are both at like entry price points for Hermes handbags. I don't own an Hermes Garden Party. When I was looking at this bag, I was actually also looking at a bright blue Garden Party in the smallest size. I forgot how many centimeters that is off the top of my head. I think it's 30 centimeters. I think 30 centimeters is the smallest Garden Party. And I was comparing the two. To me personally, the Picotin is a more youthful bag. It's more playful, it has more of that casual element to it, and the Garden Party, I think based on its structure, looks a little older. And it might be because one of my aunts has a Garden Party, and she has it in a much larger size, of course, but like I just associate it with her, and so maybe that's why. It's a very different look, and at the time that I was purchasing the two, for me and my style, the Picotin worked better, and that's why I decided to go with the Picotin first. I may or may not add a Garden Party to my collection at a later point in time, but adjectives that come to mind when I compare the two is just more playful, more youthful on the Picotin 18 side. You might be wondering what this twilly is and how to tie it. I do have a separate video on that as well, so I will link that so you can check that out if you're interested. Those are my thoughts. I absolutely think it's worth the money to get a Picotin 18. If you think about it, there are some wallets from Hermes that pretty much cost the same amount as this handbag. And it depends. Like, you might think, okay, I use a wallet every single day, so I'm going to drive the cost per wear down a lot more on a wallet. But if you have 15 wallets already, maybe you don't need another wallet, and maybe you can use those funds towards a handbag instead. It all depends. But considering that there are some wallets that cost the same amount as the Picotin 18, I think the Picotin 18 is totally worth it. I think if you are somebody who, like me, is more used to carrying crossbody bags, that's your preference, but you still have an inclination for sometimes wanting to carry a top handle bag, because I think a lot of times it looks really like cuter in photos. It looks more like poised that way and stylish rather than just having something on your shoulder or like crossbody. So if you are someone who's thinking about adding a top handle bag to your collection, you want to try one out that doesn't, I mean, we're speaking relative here, doesn't break the bank, like compared to like a Birkin. That's a top handle bag, like this will not break the bank as much. And you're interested in trying out Hermes, you want to add an Hermes handbag to your collection, then I definitely think the Picotin 18 is a great option for you to try. But if you know that like top handle bags get on your nerves, they're absolutely annoying, you prefer a bag that has more structure, you prefer a bag that has more of a proper like closing or proper hardware to open and close, so like a full zip or a full flap, you know, and you feel like it would be more secure that way, then this is not the bag for you. I absolutely love having it in my collection. I have zero regrets. I love carrying it pretty much all 4 seasons. I put this dress on purpose because I felt like it would look really cute together, but it is a very lovely, like girly, romantic bag to wear with dresses like this, but you can also casually wear it with jeans and a t-shirt and a leather jacket. Like it goes with all sorts of styles. It's very versatile. So I love having it in my collection. I also drool over this pink color every time I look at it. So I don't have any regrets. I fully enjoy it as part of my collection. I really think you would too, as long as you know what you're looking for. But if you have any other questions on this item or really anything at all, feel free to leave those down below or head on over to Instagram and I'd be happy to help however I can. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate your feedback and support. If you like this kind of content and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I post new fashion related videos every Sunday. So until next time, bye!